Hi there, it's the Flying Jocks here. It's just me, Jamie, as usual. Jake can't make it. I'm at the Blantyre end of Calderglen today, and I am looking ideally for some mine adits, limestone and ironstone mines that John Watson was at a few weeks ago. I've got a rough idea of where they are. I just don't know if I can get to them. It's on the Basket Farm side of Calderglen, and it's close to the dual carriageway. Now, I've actually been down this way before on quite a number of occasions, looking for mine adits, and across the other side you've got the ruins of Craigneath Castle, of course. But there are various small caves and crevices along here, which are quite interesting. You'll probably remember one video where I waded across the stream in my shallow Wellingtons, got soaked, went up an embankment and got into a small cave at the top. So we're just walking along the track towards the dual carriageway to Blantyre now. So as you can now hear, we're coming up to the dual carriageway. I need to walk down about 50 metres and cross over onto the other side of the River Calder. So we're now on the other side of the River Calder at the Basket Farm end, and I'm going to have a look about here to see if there's anything obvious. There are various dips in the land there, which would signify possible mining activities. Various stones about. And it is better when the growth falls back like this after the summer. You can sometimes see a whole lot more. There's a bit of a hole there, which would possibly signify a possible mine entry point there. I'm pretty sure there is one up this way. I certainly wouldn't like to get into that bit, might be dodgy. Well, there definitely was another hole in the ground up here at some point, and that was the basket mine. But it has since been earthed up by the looks of it. A few short years ago you were actually still able to walk straight into the mine. Very dangerous because it had caved in a small distance in. But up until a couple of years ago I could still see traces of it, and now I don't. So someone has obviously earthed it up. Yeah, I would say this walkway, that kind of walkway, it's definitely been an ancient track of some sort. I would say this was certainly used for mining at some point, for taking the produce along, possibly on a rail. I know that some years ago someone found a rail cart here, chap in Blantyre. He now has it in his back garden, I believe. Now, I thought some time ago that this was possibly remains from Craigneath, but I think in actual fact this is some of the mine adits. As you can see, bricked up, they were drift mines, and they are well bricked up. Another one up there. Apparently there were 8 though. Now at some point I'm going to go down towards the river bank, because I can see some what was structures down there, some rocks which I want to have a look at. Could be part of the mine adits. So I'll be down there at some stage. I can see a bit over there that I can get down because it's too steep here. So we'll see if we can get down there in the near future. And just further along here is another sort of retaining wall. Could be part of mining, or as said before, could be part of the remains of Craigneath. There's a bit of a rocky crag up there. And perhaps some folk in the East Kilbride history site can tell me some stories about it. Because no doubt I won't get the facts right. I don't know enough about it. Now I've just negotiated my way down quite a steep slippery bank, and I'm hoping I might see something down here. There's certainly things in the lower bank. It seems to go down in several levels. There are about 4 or 5 different levels, as if it's all been, cut away at some stage in the past. I'm going to go along here for a few minutes, see if I can see anything. If I don't, I'm going to go down onto the lower bank. It is now absolutely teeming down with rain, and not a lot of shelter here, apart from the trees. But I'll just have to keep going. I'll just need to get wet. So I'm going to take a walk along here. And I'm still not finding what I want to find. Now here is a very definite mine entry point, which has obviously been filled in. You can see it there. I'm not going in case it collapses. That's definitely an adit. It's about 6 feet down. So there must be a few more around about here. As you can see, that bit there has also been dug out and a sort of valley formed. So this looks an interesting bit here, which is quite far along the path now. Got another sort of retaining wall. A possible adit. There's another ridge going across here. Pretty sure that looks like an adit. It's stone, same as that bit there. And it's definitely been bricked up at some sort. That bit there, underneath that earth, is definitely, there's been bricks shoved right into that to block it up. So I'm pretty sure that's an adit. And it stretches right along here, as you can see. Right along here, there's a stone ledge. So that looks like another adit. And it's still stretching right along here. A bit of a rocky outcrop now. Probably part of what they were mining. I can still go up a little bit further, but I don't know how far. Whoops, nearly. That's quite a drop down there, I don't want to go down there. So I'll just switch this off for a minute. And that is also a very steep drop, a couple of 100 feet down there. You would have no chance. So, picturesque little waterfall, something for a change. Quite a steep ravine going down to the River Calder. Can't remember the name of this burn, but I'll find out when I go back. And there's a pipe leading into the burn here, but that could have been a mine adit at some stage as well. I'm not too sure. And also just through the trees there, it's a pile of earthwork with a lot of stone in it as well, so it could have been part of mining up here too. Now I could get across this burn, it's quite narrow there, could get across at that point, but I don't see much of a path on the other side, so I'm going to make my way all the way back and go down onto the river bank to see what I can see down on the river bank, anything that's interesting. So I'm now almost on the river bank. After clambering down, quite difficult when it's wet and muddy like this. So I'm now looking up the way to see if I can see anything. Up in the embankment, the vegetation now is starting to clear away, so you might get a better view of things. So I'm going to have a walk along the river bank. I've still got a fair bit to walk back, so I'm going to have a walk along here, see if I can see anything. Now across the river, just level with more or less Basket Farm, it's what looks like a drain of some sort, maybe coming out of Calderglen Castle. Now there is a major water treatment works up there, so it could still be active, could be something to do with that. Doesn't look that old, so I'd say it's maybe something to do with the water treatment works. But there it is anyway, perhaps you can tell me more about it. So I wonder what this is marked out for. Could it have been a mine entry point at some stage? There's a hole there that's been filled in, and my leg goes right down into it. And it doesn't stop. There's various stonework about, and it's a bit of a clearance. So it looks as though, well, it's marked out for something. Perhaps someone on the page can tell me. Now this was something I spotted on the road over, huge pieces of rock down in the embankment. They're really pretty big, taller than me actually, much taller. And that one there, now there's a bit of a hole just there, and I'm wondering if this has been a mine, or whether it's just a natural piece of rock that's keeled over in the landscape. I'm not sure. Yeah, I think it is just a natural piece of rock. Doesn't seem like an entrance to anything. Perhaps caved over down here and rolled down the hill from Craigneath Castle. So I'm back almost where I was at the start. I'm just along that path or clearance, and I spot another probable mine entry point is there. But just to highlight it again, this is the most prominent bit that I've seen. There's 4 there going up in a row. It'd be interesting to see if there was anything on the other side of the river, because this could have been part of a bridge, you never know, but it does look as if it's been concreted in, and it does look quite like mine adits. It goes right up to the top there, but it could be a bridge. I don't know if there was another bridge over this part. And of course, if you count this bit, which is actually on the path I'm walking on, then it's 5. There could be another couple down the embankment, but it's too steep to get to. Now I've just spotted something here. Don't know if you can see that recess down there. That's definitely a mine entry point in there, and that could be the basket mine entry point that I've been trying to find for so long. Pretty sure it's earthed up, but I would love to get down there for a look, but I just don't know how I'm going to get down to it. So bear with me. Definitely a mine entry point there. It has been earthed up though, and I don't think I can safely get to it because there's a steep fall down there if I slip. So I'm not going to try it, but that is definitely a mine entry there, and it's just level with Basket Farm. It's right beside where these other adits were, the retaining walls, etc. Yeah, believe it or not, this small gap here was a mine entrance. It's been severely earthed back in. All the vegetation has grown round about it, but my leg can sink into that hole there, so there's a definite hole there, and it's definitely the entrance that I found a number of years ago. So there you go, and it's directly in line with this hole in the ground here, which I wouldn't fancy going into. Looks very muddy, very marshy down there, and possibly quite deep. And also very, very unstable coming across that bit there. I felt it crack underneath me. So that's my walk down the far side of Calderglen today towards Blantyre and the Craigneath side. A few interesting holes in the ground, a few interesting retaining walls and adits around the place. A definite sign of mining from times gone by, from ironstone to limestone. So that's another video from the Flying Jocks. Hope you enjoy it, and if anyone can make any comments and tell me anything about anything down here, give me a shout. So that's my walk down Calderglen towards the Blantyre end today, and that's another video from the Flying Jocks, although it's only me as usual. Jake's too busy with his work these days. I was going to do a mine up in Shotts today, but I didn't get the weather. I was wanting a drone shot, so decided to come down here instead, and I'm glad I did. I found some interesting things, some interesting holes in the ground, some adits, some retaining walls, some mine entry points. So I think I've earned a cup of coffee and a donut perhaps, and it's chucking it down now. See you soon.